price action. All right, good afternoon, good morning, traders. Today is it's March 30th, 2026. Tax day's coming up soon. Just want to mention everybody, it's a short week this week. There's only 4 days of trading. We're going to be closed on the 3rd, which is Friday. So we're going to take off on Good Friday. Of course, we're going to be off Saturday and Sunday as well. And then open house for the BYOB Trading Room when we come back on Monday. All right, so want to thank everybody out there in excuse me, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following, liking, and subscribing to my content. Thank you for the kind words. Special shout out, Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Ed Carter, Rick Sadler, everybody that shares the content, helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web. Appreciate that. Love that. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a look at the markets this morning. Well, actually see what happened. Let's see what happened on Friday. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 638.20 above it. I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Kind of waffling around there right now. All of the Fab 5 made lower lows, lower highs, closing under bearish traps and under their 17s, EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend, 10-minute downtrend. Gold made an inside day, closed inside a bearish trap under the 17. Silver, same thing, inside day, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. USO, higher high, higher low, closed over a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. UNG made a lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17. US dollar index still in that daily uptrend, closed near the 100.19 area. SPY max pain supposedly for today, 655 with a put to call ratio of about 1.1 put for each call that expires today. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. If this is your first time seeing this, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. If this is your first time seeing this, these are all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to it, they're building out a platform or a bear flag from which to dive lower. So if they got a star next, if they got a dash, it means they have already broken out or had a breakdown from the platform that they were bear flagging inside of. So over the 17, under the 17 EMA. Let's take a look at SPY. Let's take a look at SPY. And let's take a look at the 10-minute chart. All right, so here's our 10-minute chart on SPY. Let's take pre-market. I want pre-market off. What happened? Yeah, I want to take pre-market off on this. All right. So this is what happened yesterday. This would be Friday. I meant Friday. Okay, so you can see you got a sticks and the 3 are plotting underneath the 8. So you got a 10-minute downtrend. You got daylight between the 3 and the 8. So a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. 2-hour chart. Again, the sticks and the 3 EMA are riding underneath and plotting underneath the falling 8 EMA, which is the white line. So you got 2-hour downtrend. You can see daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA on the 2-hour chart. So we got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. On the daily candle, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, closing under the falling 17 EMA. Put the quad lines on there. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so 33% is 627.50. Didn't quite get to 630 yesterday. Looking like we're getting a pro gap today. Possible run in the other direction. We'll see what happens. Currently, SPY is in a downtrend because we got lower highs. We're still in the upper third, so we're above that 627 number. So we're still bullish. All right, we're just still bullish. We just ain't acting bullish right now. Okay, so in a downtrend, but still bullish up there in the upper third. You can see back here is the origin of the move back in April, Price runs up and makes a nice long bull flag. Never got to break out over 700 there. So having a pullback, who knows, maybe they could find some spinach or some mustard, some kind of energizer to pop them up over 700. We'll see what happens, all right? Got a lot of stuff going on around the world, and it's not looking good for the markets anyways. Not yet, all right? So there's SPY on the daily chart. Again, bullish, but still in a downtrend right there. Okay, now if we get down here, we'll be neutral. Won't be bullish anymore. Get below 627. All right, let's take a look at weekly chart. Weekly chart is the April origin, and on the weekly chart, we're in a downtrend because we made a lower low. So it's going to be a tall order to break this weekly downtrend. We're actually going to have to make a higher high, and the high to beat's pretty much the all-time high. So we'll see what they want to do here. All right, but weekly, we're still bullish, but we're still in a downtrend on the weekly chart. Monthly chart is still bullish and in an uptrend. Again, you can see we're up here in the top of quadrant 4, so we're still bullish up there and in an uptrend. We haven't made any lower lows on the SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, QQQ will start with the 10. You can see the sticks in the 3 plotting underneath the falling white line, which is the 8 EMA. So you've got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA, so we've got a 10-minute downtrend, 10-minute chart, 10-minute trap. Okay, so 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on Friday. 2-hour. You got the candlesticks, and the 3 EMA is plotting underneath the falling 8. And you got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. So you got 2-hour downtrend coming into the close on Friday. Daily candle, lower high, lower low, closing under bearish trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line. We're still bullish. We haven't broke the 33% line yet. So you can see we're still bullish and currently in a downtrend, making lower highs and lower lows. That's the daily chart. Weekly chart, we got a low here. We made a lower low. So we're in a downtrend just like SPY. Here's the origin of the move. April, up, over, and then we kind of roll over. So you can see right now on the weekly chart, we're also in a downtrend as well because we got a low and we made a lower low. So weekly and daily and 2-hour, all in downtrends for both SPY and QQQ currently. On the monthly chart, tall order to break this low down here, but could be done. But right now, we're bullish because we're in the upper third, and we haven't made a lower low, so we're still in an uptrend on QQQ monthly chart. All right, let's take a look at 2 game plans. We'll go to the 15-minute chart, and something got moved around. And let's see what we got here. I can see this one got moved around. Okay, so let's move this out of the way and push this up. Okay, change this. $561.55. There we go. All right, so QQQ game plan pivot is 566.30. Above it bullish, below it bearish. Green erases red over 571.05. Red erases green underneath 561.55. This is QQQ game plan. I like Friday options on the multiple of 5. They have more open interest. And I like a tight bid-ask spread. I don't want a lot of slippage if I have to get stopped out. Plus, I don't want to have to pay a lot to go shopping for my options. I like strikes. Really, I like them out of the money, but right now, due to the volatility, I like them at the money currently because you get some days that are just $3, $4 days, and you're paying the premium because there's a lot of volatility priced into the options right now, and they're priced in for those $10 move days. And if you only get a $3 move day, kind of sucks. Then you don't really go anywhere, and you just kind of just experience a whole lot of theta decay, and it winds up just wrecking your day and just breaking your spirit, as well as preventing you from reaching your goal. So currently, I like the strikes that are at the money. So I can't get as many as I used to get, but I like these because I don't feel like going through the pain of overpaying for options that are only going to decay in a few hours. So for right now, I'm going to go with the at the money options. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. As you can see right now, we might have a pro gap. All right, you can see we're all the way back up here at the pivot. All right, above the pivot, I'm bullish. Below it, I'm bearish. Okay, so we might have an uptrend that happens to manifest like right here, right below the pivot, or maybe just over the pivot, long before it gets to the green erases red entry up here. I'm not opposed to trading it. I just like to see it break that bullish 10-minute rubber band candle on the QQQ. Okay, SPY's got a game plan as well. Options are pretty much the same there for SPY. Okay, for SPY, pivots 638.20. You can see we're hovering in the same area right now. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Green erases red over 642.70. Red erases green underneath 633. Again, I like the Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the higher open interest. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. So if a 10-minute uptrend were to manifest down here, long before the green erases red, I'm not opposed to trading it to the upside. Just want to see it break that bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. Again, I like the strikes that are at the money. All right, there's so much volatility priced into these $10 moves that they have there, that the volatility is expecting. All right, but you don't get them because price is now consolidating, or the dealers are balancing their gamma. So what happens is you only get a tight day and you don't get any movement out of it, and yet you paid up for a $10 move, but you only got a $3 or a $4 move. So for that reason, I'm choosing at the money at this time. All right, let's take a look at some of the other products that we have, indexes. So we'll come out here to the daily chart. Let's start with scratch right there. Let's go with Diamond Dow. All right, so everybody got a lower high and a lower low. Okay, so Diamond Dow, you can see they closed underneath the third, so they're bearish. All right, and they're in a downtrend because they made lower highs and lower lows. So bearish. No, excuse me. They're neutral and in a downtrend right now on Diamond Dow. I meant to say neutral, okay, because they're not in the upper third, they're not in the lower third. So neutral and in a downtrend, closing underneath that all-time high in VWAP, closing not in the upper third. So that's what makes it neutral. They are on the north side of the 50-yard line, so still slightly bullish control, but I haven't seen anything yet. So there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM, lower high, lower low, closing under bearish trap, closing underneath falling 17, closing underneath the pink line. I see all-time high anchored VWAP. Still in the upper third, so that's bullish, but obviously no higher highs here yet, so still in a downtrend for IWM. Staker. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. This is the all-time low. That's the all-time high. You can see we're in the lower third now for stinker. So we're now bearish for the first time in a long time. Actually, about the first time in about 9-10 months, right there. April to April, right there. So about 9-10 months is the first time we're bearish. So we are now bearish on FNGU, and we're in a downtrend. We've got lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low. So that's bearish and in a downtrend for FNGU. Let's take a look at precious metals, silver. Silver was an inside day, or maybe not. Looks like I picked up the wrong candle on that one. All right, so silver, let me make the correction now. Higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Bearish and in a downtrend, neutral and in a downtrend, and caught underneath that all-time high anchored VWAP. Just on the north side of the 50-yard line, so not much bullish control showing up there. Currently inside of a bear flag that looks like they tried to break out of the north side and failed. So we'll see what happens. There's silver, so still neutral and in a downtrend. Gold, curious what this is going to be. Gold still bullish and in a downtrend. Got lower highs. There's a high. There's a lower high, lower lows. So we're in a downtrend because we're making lower lows and lower highs. Candle was higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap, but under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. And gold is bullish, but still in a downtrend because it's making lower highs and lower lows. Take a look at USO. Higher low, higher high, closed over a bullish trap, closed over the rising 17, top of quadrant 4, closed over the 4-year high anchored VWAP. That's bullish and in an uptrend for USO. UNG is higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap over the 17, under the all-time high, under the 12-month high anchored VWAP. You can see that's the last time we made a high was up there. That's 2025, so not a very high bar that we set, just 12-month high. And currently we are making, I see a low here, and we make lower lows. So we're currently bearish because we're down in quadrant 1. We're in the lower third, so we're bearish and in a downtrend on UNG. All right, let's take a look at technicals. We'll start off with T2101. Okay, the market melted off a lot on Friday, and participation melted off as well. I'd say that's a bullish sign, simply because you don't want more traders piling on as price takes a dip back. So Absolute Breath dipped. Dipped a little more yesterday. Friday, right there. So that's a bullish sign for me. It is. Let's take a look at T2122. This is a bearish sign. We're in the sell zone and the oversold zone. Finally breaking these 3 lows right through here for earlier in the week, and you can see that's a bearish sign, sticking it out here in the sell zone and the oversold zone. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's take a look at T2123. Still in a downtrend, bearish gap down, never filled by the bulls. Making a low, making lower lows. So bearish and in a downtrend. Here's the all-time high. If I put the quad lines in there from the all-time high, you can see we're clear down here in quadrant 1. So that's obviously bearish. All right, and you can see the lower highs and lower lows. So that's in a downtrend, and we're under that falling 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bear. Currently, I'm bearish till I see the bulls show up. got this pro gap today, possibly. So we may bulls may show up today. We'll see what happens. That's T2123. That's the 3-bar chart. Let's take a look at. No, that was the 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. Now this was the all-time high right here for 2024. Okay, made in December. From there, we had a pullback. All right, from making that all-time high, like a 5-month pullback. And here's April 1st. We started our rally back up to make some new all-time highs, not just one but two. But you can see right here, here's made that low, came back up here, made a new all-time high, pulled back, made a higher low, and then ripped to make another new all-time high. Price currently, this is a 3-bar chart, currently is in a downtrend simply because you've got lows right here and then we've got lower lows. So we're in a downtrend until we start making some higher highs. And the first green that you come to over the 17 is going to be way back here at the all-time high. So in order to negate the downtrend, it'll be a tall order. They'll have a lot of work to do, again, all the way up and make a new all-time high. Again, you can see we're underneath the rising 200 SMA. This would be a bearish environment. Again, that's where you want to be if you're a bear. Currently, I'm a little bit bearish until I see the bulls show up. Again, price is up in quadrant 4, so that's bullish. But obviously, we went through the downtrend. We're making lower highs and lower lows, so obviously still in a downtrend. Again, just like the 15-minute chart, you got a bearish gap down, not even filled by the bulls all day yesterday. So we'll see what happens this morning. And let's take a look at Stinker on the 15. Stinker, bearish gap down. We got some lows. We made lower lows, so bearish and in a downtrend. On Stinker, there's the falling 200 SMA. We're underneath that. That's not a great place to be if you're a bull, but for a bear, that's great. Currently, we're under this all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's Stinker. Let's take a look at Max Payne first. See what they got there. See if they can feed it back to me relatively fast. All right, so on the sheet, I got Max Payne listed as 655, and it looks like they just now updated it, so it's 645, and the put to call ratio is not 1.1 puts to each call. It's actually 0.9 puts to each call that expires today at 4:15. Okay, so that's our Max Payne number, 645. I think we may get there. We'll see. Earnings report. Lot of familiar names today, but nothing here that's going to move the markets right there. Okay, so on the 30th, let's just run through these. Nike, 76 billion again. Another McCormick. Another lot of familiar names. All right, Encino, T1 Energy. Okay, a lot of familiar names. Nothing here gonna change the market direction, all right, or affect the markets in any positive or negative way. On Wednesday, what do we got here? We got, again, more familiar names, nothing here that's going to move the markets in any particular direction. Thursday, what do we got? Again, more familiar names. And, of course, Friday, we're closed right there. Okay, remember Friday, we're off. But I don't know if none of these guys have their P&Ls ready or they've already released them in the year. We'll see what happens. But there's the earnings calendar. Let's take a look at economic calendar. Today, nothing going on. Friday, believe it or not, they're going to have the employment situation and the market's going to be closed. That's a market mover at 8:30 in the morning on Friday. So we'll miss that on Friday because that is a market mover. Tomorrow we've got Case-Shiller Home Price Index 9 a.m. instead of 7. FHFA House Price Index 9 a.m. as well. Chicago PMI 945. What does that say? Consumer confidence at 10 o'clock right there. And then JOLTS also at 10. And we'll hit Wednesday and Thursday later on as we get closer to them. Right now, we're just going to pass on those. Just remember, Friday we're closed. It's going to be a short week. So think about how you want to hedge your positions. And if you're going to have any positions over that Easter weekend. Not saying something's going to happen, but we are in the middle of a conflict in the Middle East yet again. All right, so just saying, anything could happen. All right, I'll take questions in the room, and if there's none, I will see you all in 35, 40 minutes, and we'll open up the markets together. Oh, let's take a look at which direction we're going to trade for SPY. So let's go to this chart. No, this chart right here with the pre-market. Let's pull up SPY. I think we have a 10-minute uptrend. I plan on trading a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. All right, and we've got some numbers here, some gamma numbers that we'll point out. Refresh this. I don't want all expirations. I just want the 0 DTE. All right, so here's the 0 DTE. We're either going to move, okay, up toward, see this one right here, 645. See that big green node? That's the biggest one on here. So there's possibility we move up to that big green node. And then if we get on top of that and consolidate, I'd say we're coming up here to this next one. This red one, that's at 648. And you can see this is at 650. This is even bigger than the one before. All right, and I think by tomorrow morning we'll be tackling the 650 number right there. I don't think we'll get to 650 today, but I think we'll get close. I think we'll get right on up to 648. All right, I got a feeling we could probably take it that far today. We'll see what happens. Again, we're either coming up here or we're headed back to 630. All right, because 630 is the next big GEX number. Actually, this is 619, but 630 was a big number before. This is 634, but these two are bigger. Chances are we're going to blow through all of these and come for these two strikes right here. So we'll see what happens. All right, that's it, traders. So for today, I'm going to trade continuation of the 10-minute uptrend until it ends. All right, it may end. I'm just saying it might like roll over, but that's the plan, is to trade a continuation of this 10-minute uptrend we're currently in right at this time. All right, that's my plan for this morning until it ends, and then I want to head back towards 630 with price action. So I'll be looking for that 10-minute downtrend after this one ends to commence and start taking us back down towards 630. That's the plan for today. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. Thank you.